Hi, everyone. Welcome to Alpha's weekly webinar. This week, we have an incredible group of participants. And once again, we're going to be focusing on the topic as arts as a fantastic tool for transformation. So I'm going to let all of the participants introduce themselves. I'm Manuela, Seve, the CEO and co-founder of Alpha. And Saulo, why don't we start with you?
Okay, so it's a pleasure to be invited for this seminar. So my name is Saulo Barreto. I was born in Sergipe, which in Brazil is a kind of very cool aspect of any personality because there is almost no one that knows someone from Sergipe. I'm a civil engineer. I made a PhD in structural analysis, and after 8 years as a professor, I quit the university and created IPTI, a not-for-profit organization focused on creating social technologies to promote human development. In 2009, we moved from São Paulo to Santa Luzia de Itaim, which is a small town in south of Sergipe, in one of the poorest cities in Brazil. And since then, we are developing this model for human development. And we have a partner in New York. And that's why we met you girls in Alpha, and we start to have this kind of partnership.
Então, meu nome é Genisson Cardoso, eu sou ilustrador, estou me formando em artes visuais, sou morador daqui de Santa Luzia, aqui de Sergipe, Brasil. A gente se conhecemos através de alguma parceria entre Casa do Cacete e Alpha.
Please, when you translate Casa do Cacete, don't do fucking house.
No worries.
Renata.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renata Thome. I'm a co-founder at Alpha, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about our collaboration back in 2000 that happened back in 2018. So that's it.
Perfect. So Saulo, I think we'll start off with you. It's so hard to have a career in the non-for-profit space, even more in Brazil. It has so many particular issues, and the philanthropy mindset is really not present. What motivated you to start IPTI, and how did the Arte Naturalista project get started and get connected? How did you see the arts as a tool for transformation?
Okay, so I think the biggest motivation was I'm an atheist, so then I always search for a meaning for my life. And as an engineer and math, I decided that the meaning of life is transform. So then I start to think, how can I help to make the world better than I received when I was born? And I was professor in a university. Then I saw some difficulties with my students to learn my subject, and I decided to change completely my subject of research to help the students that had some difficulties. And because of the bureaucracy and the slowness of the decision making in the university, I decided to quit, and I quit IPTI in 2003 in São Paulo. I was very lucky because in 2004, Gilberto Gil, the Brazilian singer who was Minister of Culture, his team has found us, and we have been hired to coordinate a digital culture project in the whole Brazil. So I have the great opportunity to be together with more than 600 NGOs in all Brazil, from the indigenous tribe in Amazonian forest to hip hop group in Islam in São Paulo. And I was not so normal before. I became much worse after this experience. And then I decided to move from São Paulo to a small town because in 2006, we came up with an idea how art, science, and technology could promote human development. And we realized that this would have a much better effect if it was deployed in a context of extreme poverty, rather than to be deployed in São Paulo, which has so many complex problems. Mm-hmm. And then we decided to come to this little town that for us is a kind of mirror for many other little towns in Brazil and in the South Hemisphere, Latin America and Africa as well. So the naturalist art started in 2012, I think. Yeah, 2012. And it was an idea because before naturalist art, we had a project that combined contemporary designers with traditional craft. But all the designers were from São Paulo and Rio. So then we look out, there is a space, there is a vacancy for designers in Santa Luzia. It's like a utopia to think about designers in a so poor community, but I like to say that without the utopia, it's better to make suicide because the normal life is very boring.
Mm-hmm.
So then we decided to open this project financed by a private company. And the project was based on the selection of the best 20 talents in draw. So kids, teenagers that like to draw. And we select the best 20 and we offer them the best professional materials that could buy and also the best watercolor teacher we could find in Brazil. And that was how the project starts.
Genisson, e conta pra gente então como você conheceu o IPTI, como que você veio participar do projeto do Arte Naturalista, como que foi esse caminho?
Então, na verdade, eu conheci o IPTI em uma chamada pública de carro de som mesmo. Eu estava no povoado e passaram durante a tarde falando sobre o projeto. Posteriormente, a diretora da escola foi lá em casa conversar com minha mãe, porque na verdade eu não queria ir. Eu tinha a visão de morar em Santa Luzia, não consegui ter uma sensibilidade, me destacar como artista, né? Pelo fato de eu imaginar que Santa Luzia fosse um povo que não temos uma cultura de pesca e outras coisas, e a arte não fazia parte do cotidiano atual. Por insistência de minha mãe, da diretora, eu fui para as aulas, no início mais por causa de um escape mesmo dos trabalhos no mangue, das obrigações de casa mesmo. E depois fui começando a gostar de arte, de lidar com a arte, de se entrosar com o mundo da arte, né? E isso foi, tipo assim, abrindo um pouco o leque das oportunidades, abrindo muito a minha mentalidade em relação ao contexto de arte, porque a gente em Santa Luzia aprendia nas escolas que arte era fazer um desenho ou fazer outra coisa, e estava meio que limitado diante das aulas de arte do município, né? E o IPT veio para tipo abranger muito mais o nosso perfil artístico, fazer com que a gente começasse a repensar coisas que a gente não costumava ver no nosso cotidiano. E foi tipo assim, o IPT foi um leque, né? Foi a chave da transformação. Foi onde a gente começou a ver realmente que o mundo artístico ia muito mais, e que a gente mesmo estava passando, vivia no mundo rodeado de arte, e a gente não percebia pela falta desse olhar sensível, né, do que a arte era, do que a arte é na vida de nós seres humanos.
No, fantástico. I'm gonna translate just a little bit, but after interacting with an open call from a sound car that Saulo hired to go around Santa Luzia do Itaí, Genisson changed his whole perspective of how the world is formed by art, and how, you know, we are always surrounded by art and the beauty, and change the way that he could look at things. And I think, Renata, it's interesting to maybe talk a little bit about how we reacted as well the first time that we saw the drawings, and then we learned the age of the participants.
Yeah, so we first got acquaintance with the Arte Naturalista project back the end of 2017, I believe, or beginning of 2018, and we obviously fell in love immediately with the artworks. It's so beautiful, like, and it represents so well the Brazilian culture. And I think, like, thinking like then, like, with like mentality of like a Brazilian person, but like someone who was already living abroad, like we knew that other people here in the US, like in other parts of the world would also fall in love with it. I think it's only when you're far away from your home that you truly learn, not only, but like a lot of the times truly learn how to appreciate it. So we have seen the fascination of like foreigners with our culture. So there's nothing like more Brazilian in the best way like than their drawings. The collaboration moved fast, like, and we fall in love like even more like with the project once we met with Saulo, like, and really like understood like the story behind like and the objectives like with that work, and really like everything that we believe that our art is capable for, like in the sense of like empowering people like and transforming lives, like, and how he had like used that idea and really like made it possible through this project. So it was an obvious collaboration for us, like, and we're very, very proud when we launched the line of prints together. I think still one of my favorite projects, both for its beauty, like, and also for what it represents.
Yeah, maybe tell them what you're wearing.
Oh yes. So two things. So what you see behind, like in the background, that's an artwork by Daniel Moraes, who helped the boys to finish up like and create some of the patterns like with their drawings, like, which like Manu, maybe like you can show a little bit more after. And this, like what I'm wearing, like here.
No, you're
Oh,
disappearing.
no, I'm
back.
Disappearing. I'm disappearing. But this is also like patterns that like the boys did, like, and it was a collaboration with Oskling. So it's also interesting to see like the like visual arts like going to like different like sectors as well, like, and merging like with fashion design, like, and yeah, like it's a very holistic approach. Like they do a little bit of everything, like, and the result obviously like it's beautiful.
Saulo, can you talk a little bit more about the educational component? Because I think one of the things that impressed us the most when we learned about the project was to think of the amount of people and lives that you touched from that initial group.
Yeah, sure. So as I said before, what we do social technology. Social technology is the combination between scientific technological knowledge with local knowledge. So IPTI is very specialized on working to make this match as perfect as possible. And so we always search in a social technology 3 steps. The first step is to reach efficacy. So we have to solve the problem. We have to reach an efficacy in terms of capacity or what we do. The second is how can we scale up? So scalability is a second step. And the third step is sustainability. So all the projects we do in basic education, entrepreneurship education, and basic health, we work on these 3 steps process. And in case of art naturalist art, the efficacy was clear. You can see the draws of the guys, fascinating. But along the process of offering the workshops on techniques and materials, we work very strong on 2 pillars, which are very special for us. The first one is ethics. Ethics is in a broad sense because the people have to understand they have an important role to help the community they belong to develop. Because it's very common in Brazil, in Northeast, it's even worse, that the people are very individual. So we always trying to take the best for us, and so the rest is the rest. So despite the fact we are very solidarity, we don't trust each other very much. So this trust is a big issue in Brazil. And in Northeast, it's very complicated. So the people need to understand they have a role to be social entrepreneurs in their community. And the second pillar is identity. because you can only play a global role if you have your own identity. So the biggest ecosystem in Santa Luzia is mangrove. Mangrove is the place where the most of the families and the people take the crabs and the seafoods to live in a very low price. So it's very common when you have this fantastic landscape and beauty of the nature that you don't see that as so important. It's just a mangrove. So naturalist art work to show that mangrove has a special aesthetics that can be used in fashion, but in many other projects. And I believe that Mateus and Genisson and other guys, they only are international because they have this identity so strong. So because they show themselves through the mangrove. Mangrove is not a reason to be ashamed. Mangrove is a reason to be global.
Fantástico. And Genisson, como que essa experiência inteira afetou sua vida? Como que era a sua vida antes e depois da arte, do arte naturalista?
Então, a princípio, antes de conhecer o projeto, eu pescava e participava da agricultura mais familiar mesmo. E depois que eu conheci o projeto, a minha visão ampliou em relação a não só ao mundo da arte, mas até os conhecimentos mesmo. Hoje em dia tenho ciência de que eu moro em uma bolha social, né? As pessoas tendem a repassar o conhecimento que é adquirido dos pais, dos amigos e tudo. E a princípio eu só imaginava que eu poderia ir para a indústria ou algo parecido, né? Por conta que era meio que normal as pessoas do meu povoado, da cidade de Santa Luzia, ir para a indústria quando se tornasse maior de idade. E eu caminhei ao lado meio que o lado artístico, né? Comecei a ilustrar, comecei a fazer ilustrações da fauna e flora daquilo que eu já sabia. Tipo assim, o mangue era o meu cenário. O mangue era o meu quintal, eu conhecia, eu pescava muito. E aparentemente as coisas, em relação à transformação de vida, eu comecei graças à arte, eu comecei a cursar uma faculdade, comecei a viajar para lugares que eu não imaginava que viajaria, comecei a fazer transformações e começar a ampliar não só o meu conhecimento através do mundo da arte, mas o conhecimento de várias pessoas que estão ao meu redor.
I'd like to add something about what Genisson has said, also connect with your question, because all the projects we do, the guys who reach a certain level of quality, they become teachers in their own schools of their own villages. This is the scalability aspect of the project. So Genisson has taught maybe more than 400 students in art for free in the last 5 years. So this is a way not just he to give back to the community a skill and a competence that he acquired along the project, but also as a manner how he can discover new talents and give them an opportunity. And because usually social investors, companies or people, they have a very strong problem about anxiety. They always want to change realities very quick. And this is not possible because when you talk about changing realities, we are talking about changing mindsets. We are talking about changing the people, how the people see themselves. So it's like extracting the poverty on people's mind. And that takes time. And it's much easier for Genisson to inspire other guys from his community rather than me or you. So the idea is to create this kind of elite, and this elite become inspiration for the next generations. And that's the educational aspect of the project we do in all the projects we do.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. There's a lot of social capital that comes a long way. And I think you're really creating a skill, which is different from, giving something away. It's a strong entrepreneurship initiative, and it has so much accountability. And really, congratulations on the project. We're very proud to be a part of it. And I think, here, maybe talk a little bit more about how was the experience when we presented this for the first time? Like, what were the learning experiences that came our way as well?
Learning experiences that came our way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like obviously like we're like stunned like by the works like, and we thought that they would have like a huge impact. But people were extremely interested, not only like for the final result, but like about the story behind. And I think like that's something that like you can see like in a general way, like an interest, like when you show people that like besides from like purchasing an artwork, like you're collaborating for the development of like people like Genisson like and other new artists, so they can like continue like being doing the amazing work that they do. So like in a way like you're investing like in their careers as well. And what else would you like me?
No, I think it was just there's a saying in Brazil that age, well, not in Brazil but in the world, that age is just a number. And I think for us they seemed so mature, even though the young age and the quality of the work and how professional the whole CDC group was, that it really does show that if you teach principles from a young age, you build amazing professionals.
Yeah, and I think also like there's something like Alpha started with a t-shirt collaboration like back in 2014 that funded so the t-shirts were created by established artists, and the proceeds from the sales of those t-shirts were funding scholarship programs for newer artists. Like, and I think like in a way that really relates, because like Genisson now, like he's teaching other kids, like, and he's like, taking like his share of responsibility, like in continuing like this circle of goodness, like, like he went through the process. He like obviously like it's quite successful, like you can see like his like creations like all over, and just like giving back to the ones who are starting. And I think what Saulo said before, that like when you see someone who like you can really like relate to, I think like no better way to motivate those kids like to have like put in like the hours, the effort, and like work hard to like develop their skills like and become like amazing artists as well, than having like a living example of like what that's possible.
Fantastic. Saulo,
Yeah.
there's a question that I think is important for every professional, and we have our moments as well. And I think I'm going to ask the same question for the three of you. What was an inflection point in your career? How did it change you as a professional and as an individual? It can be a positive, negative experience, but what came out of it?
I think it's hard to say because there is. I cannot remember inflection point, but I can understand. I can remember an inflection period. I think some periods in my life were very important to build the human being I am now. And as I said, I don't have a specific point that I decided to quit and move completely. That was something that was built along many years. But of course, the decision to change, to move from São Paulo to Santa Luzia Itaim was very important. But in the first moment was completely crazy. I mean, everyone said that we were crazy to leave São Paulo and to start over again in a small town where there is no companies, no industry, no financial interest for sponsors and I was completely obsessed about that was a strategic change, because for me exactly to be in Santa Luzia means that I am the world. I am in the middle of the world that everyone wants to help. And I like to say, it's funny to say that people call me today as a visionary. The same people that 10 years ago called me as a crazy man. I like to say that the visionary is just a crazy man with reputation.
It's true, it's true. Genisson, você teve algum ponto de inflexão na sua carreira como artista? O que foi um momento específico que te trouxe uma motivação extra?
Então, desde pequeno sempre fui acostumado a depender um pouco das pessoas em volta, né? Dos pais, de alguns amigos, sempre aquela coisa de precisar de um impulso de pessoas próximas para poder conseguir algumas coisas. Mas teve um momento da minha vida que eu me vi sem muitas alternativas e eu tive que se reinventar. Então eu comecei a mudar o perfil muito da minha rede social, para o lado mais profissional mesmo. Comecei a divulgação dos meus trabalhos para poder bancar a faculdade, né? Tinha um gasto extra e estava tipo assim muito fora do meu alcance financeiramente. E tipo assim foi um momento que eu fiquei muito pensativo em relação de como poderia bancar, como poderia pagar minha faculdade, e diante da circunstância do momento estava meio que incapaz. Aí foi onde, tipo assim, no momento de aperto, que eu decidi, tipo assim, me jogar de vez no mundo da arte. Comercializar muito mais meu trabalho, me aprofundar muito, abrir muito mais o leque das oportunidades, começar a ver coisas totalmente diferentes do que eu costumava ver no momento. E isso ampliou muito a minha mente, ampliou muito as minhas oportunidades, me fez nortear dentro do mundo da arte e ser muito... e ter uma visão muito abrangedora, né? E saber que o curto prazo as coisas não se resolvem, então tinha que ser base de estudo mesmo, de pesquisa, de ir a campo mesmo, divulgar o trabalho, encontrar pessoas para trocar diálogo, buscar conhecimento. Foi uma fase muito, tipo assim, foi uma fase complicada em relação ao início da faculdade, como custear, como bancar isso, mas depois desse aperto, depois que eu comecei a ver que eu precisaria muito se reinventar, aí as coisas começaram a andar e facilitou muito. Mas
E aí foi de vento em popa.
nem tanto, mas tá indo, tá funcionando, né? Acho que é trabalho, né? São passos contínuos, né? Que buscam o sucesso.
Tem uma frase do Churchill, que é: quanto mais eu trabalho, quanto mais sorte eu tenho.
É verdade.
É a maior verdade do mundo.
But there is a history funny about Genisson that I like to remember, because when we started Naturalist Art Project, we joined all 20 teenagers from 11 years old until 17 years old. And we asked them to tell why they are here. And Genisson was the last one. And I remember that he was about 14 or 15 years old. And he said, I don't know why I'm here. My mother asked him to come, but I don't know why I'm here. But one thing I know, I need to change my mind. So then I took it very serious, because I think it was the only one who said not beautiful words about everything we are doing, but he was very sincere. And so I used to visit all them every 2 weeks to convince them not to give up, because you can imagine belongs to families of small farmers or fishermen. It's very common that we don't take so serious something that is related to art in a long-term perspective, very long-term perspective. So then I used to go to all the houses one Saturday per month, and I spend as a Saturday visiting house by house in different villages, spend maybe 30 minutes with each family to sell dreams, to sell a future completely impossible to understand, and to convince the guys not to give up. And I remember that in his house there was a black bird that lives free, and the black bird was always for me a sign that something is nice. So a lot of things has happened. Many people took the coordination, leadership in this process. Genisson was the last one to take the leadership. And now he is the first social technology coordinator at IPTI that came from Santa Luzia Itaim. So he is the coordinator of social technology, naturalist art, since the beginning of this year. And so we hope that in the next years, many other social technologies coordinator will be replaced from IPTI people to local people from Santa Luzia.
Oh, that's amazing. And just to summarize Genisson's answer,
Oh, sorry.
basically when he decided to join college, he couldn't rely on his parents anymore, and he had to find a way to pay for his university. And that made him become even more engaged with his arts, more commercial, work much harder, learned a lot within the experience. And now, as Saulo beautifully framed, is the first social coordinator for IPTI. So full circle.
Full circle.
What about you here? Inflection point.
I don't know if I can talk about like one specific moment, because I think there are like so many that kind of like shape you in the way that like, so you become like what you are. Like, but I think like for me, like always like listening to my gut, like and like doing the things that like not necessarily like in a rational way made a lot of sense, or that like maybe like some Genisson like and some of the boys can relate to that too. Like, you know, like you might not sound like the like exact the perfect candidate for something, but like there's still like, you know, like a curiosity or something like, you know, that like draws you like into that opportunity. But definitely like also like I think moving from Brazil to New York, like the 3 times that I did, I've always learned something new. Like, and I think like this is like such a wonderful place like to use as a platform to share like new ideas, like or beautiful projects like this one, you know, like and like unfortunately or not, like, you know, like once like those like opportunities are presented here, like or those ideas are presented here, I feel that like we gain more momentum like in other places too. That's what we felt like when I moved Alpha here. Like, and I think like maybe like the impact that like the CDC prints had like being launched here, like and like spreading out like also to other places. Like, I don't know. Like,
Okay. So one final question. How has the current scenario with coronavirus impacted the activities in the Institute Saulo? What is the plan down the line to go back to normalcy? What are you guys seeing specifically on the ground in Brazil, which has been in so many newscasts all over the world?
No, so for sure the COVID-19 has impacted a lot because you have a very strong face-to-face relationships. But for us, we took as an opportunity to learn how to optimize the process. So many social technologies now are going very well, much better than I could expect, using online groups, online platforms. Naturalistic art, of course, suffer a lot. When you think about the reapplication process with kids and teenagers, and then there is a problem because the school was a place, and we have to consider that few people in Santa Luzia below 15 years old have access to internet or a smartphone. So if you work with projects with teachers or adults or even young, there's no problem. But with kids and adolescents, we have a IT barrier. But I'm very impressed at how fast we adapt our social technologies for the moment. And I'm pretty sure that after this pandemic, this experience, we'll be much stronger and more capable to scale up easier, cheaper, and with the same efficacy. So I see the challenge as now it was a nice opportunity for us to learn more, because sometimes you stay a little bit comfortable in your scenario that you build, which is already very good, but there is always something to improve, and this situation pushes a lot to improve. The other thing is that I think this moment has given us also much more visibility. it's funny how many meetings now. It's very easy to meet CEOs.
Yeah.
And so Trump has called me 3 times. I gave up because I don't want to talk with him. But how free people are. It's very interesting because I'm having so many meetings with boards and CEOs and executives for big companies. That's for some reason they have heard about us, and they come to know better what we are doing, and to see how the social technology concept and process can be also used in their social investments after 2021. I think IPTI will be very well positioned because we work very strong with values that I think the human being now is giving more attention to.
Yeah, I think for us, it's been a similar experience as well. There was a barrier for people that wanted to collect art online. They always thought it had to be a physical interaction. And we were always virtual. So when the whole market changed, you know, obviously there was a moment that our clients kind of disappeared, reassessed where they were going. But, you know, now the projects are still there. The walls still need to be filled. The budgets are probably smaller, which makes it easier for, you know, for us to win the business. So overall, it's a huge opportunity as well. I don't know if you want to build on it here, on, you know,
yeah,
the
like,
artist side, maybe.
Yeah, like, and I think like we are like an art business, like, but like I think for a lot of the art businesses, like it became like a lot more about the business than the art. Like, and like when the whole market stopped, like it went back to like what it should be, you know, like focusing like on the art, the artists, like the community, like, and even like this project which you're all participating now, like those webinars, they have like they brought so much interest, like, and added so much value to the work that we're doing like before, you know, because I think like in the end people are curious to know who are the faces behind like the beautiful works that you see on the platform, and what's their story. They can like more than like art for art's sake, you know, like what is that like representing, like or how that can create an impact, like for this case like in particular. So definitely like if you have an opportunity to check out some of the other webinars that we've posted in the past, like, and stay tuned for the things which are gonna come in the future. Like we're thrilled to have collaborated with such amazing people, like, and to have the opportunity to be sharing a little bit of like this work with you guys, like through this.
Amazing. So, last question. A última pergunta é para o Genisson. Só o que o futuro tem e o que o futuro espera para você? Quais são os próximos projetos?
Então, a gente está ampliando muito o projeto, tanto a CDC e tudo. Acho que é só disseminar muito mais a arte, transformar muito a vida das pessoas, né? Tentar transformar a vida das pessoas através da arte, fazer com que as pessoas de Santa Luzia, principalmente, consiga se torne muito mais sensível, né? A perceber a arte em volta, essa valorização de espaço, valorização de cultura, porque na verdade a gente só conhece um povo se um povo, então um país, ou até, sei lá, Santa Luzia mesmo, se olhar a arte em volta, né? Se olhar a cultura artística que tem em volta. E cada vez a gente percebe que a evolução do mundo, às vezes, vai ocultando esses vestígios artísticos. E eu vejo particularmente Santa Luzia como isso. Santa Luzia perde muita identidade, né? Pelo fato de tentar acompanhar algo tão global. E esquecemos de valorizar as coisas que nos pertencem mesmo. Acho que é isso, através da arte usar para valorização interna, para fortalecimento da cultura, da identidade. E como artista mesmo, expandir cada vez mais os meus projetos, as minhas artes, disseminar o conhecimento dentre de pessoas que pode ser Santa Luzia, mas também pode ser muito além de Santa Luzia. Tentar ganhar o mundo, sabe? expandir muito mais a minha arte através de obras, de prints, de, enfim, de ilustrações que possa ser aplicada em vários produtos.
Yeah, so just to summarize, for the future, use the arts to showcase the local culture of Santa Luzia to the world. The arts are extremely powerful as a tool to really bring local culture. And just to add on our end, it's a request that we get all the time. Whenever we do projects, the companies want to work with local artists. They want to have a touch of that place, that community brought into their properties. So amazing. There's one question that came from the chat. Yeah. Kari, do you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yeah, sure. Hey guys. Hi. Oi.
Hi.
Oi. Yeah, so I know you guys are optimist, like Saulo is an optimist by nature. I think we all are. I love what you said, how we can leverage this, the virtual world and take so many things online. I love what you said about how more accessible everybody, I don't know how more accessible the world turned to us. But my question is, what about the plans for the physical school? Are those still on? And where are they at the moment? Where is the development of that? And do you still see the school as important as you used to before? Thanks.
Sure. So I'm thinking you are talking about the Art and Technology School, the ALBA, the Academy of Language and Fine Arts.
Yes,
because
yes.
We are building a school at Hope School, which is an ordinary school for the municipality, but it's planned to be a kind of a reference how a public school should be. This is in progress. We hope to open the nursery, the childcare, and the kitchen by next month. But the ALBA, which is our dream to build a language and fine arts school, it's still in plan. We don't have the land, we don't have the budget for the project, we don't have the budget to build it, but we have the dream, which is the most expensive and hard to find. So I still believe that despite the fact that we are moving so much and so fast to virtual, the adolescents in Santa Luzia, in places like that, it's very important for them to have the chance to meet each other. For example, we have projects in robotics, coding, art, soundtracks. So my dream is that all these guys, these teenagers, they have lessons together in very close rooms so that they can meet each other and share ideas and create new projects. And then we have new startups. So I think the physical exchange in a so poor community as Santa Luzia is crucial, because we need to build a kind of mass of people that thinks and change ideas and knowledge and experiences and dreams together. Currently, people go very far away. Santa Luzia is composed by many small villages very far away from each other, and they have few chances to meet each other. So when people like Genisson go back home, they are isolated in the family or a neighbor that don't see that opportunity as the same way that he see when he is with us, with their peers from other projects. So that's why I think the physical school is so crucial. But sorry, Karen, we are not able yet to find any kind of budget, but the dream is still there.
Amazing. So I would like to personally thank all of you for participating. It's been
I thought you were going to
fantastic.
sponsor the school, but anyway.
She's personally sponsoring the school.
I'm personally sponsoring the school. I just have to sell my firstborn and then I'll be back. But this has been amazing. It's always great to chat. Saulo, Genisson, it was great to meet. Foi prazer. And we will see you soon with more news, hopefully, and more beauty.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have also a big thanks to give to you both, because we are strong partners from us. And a good news for the next year is that we are planning next year to combine more different visual artists with the CDC. So we have now a partnership confirmed with Ronaldo Fraga and a tattoo guy, a very famous tattoo in Brazil. And then we are going to have workshops in tattoo and illustration together. So I think the future is that we are going to make even more crazy things.
Amazing.
Sounds like a plan. We're always in for craziness. Anything else to add here?
No, just thank you, everyone. It has been very enlightening. Yeah.
Obrigado.
Bye.
Prazer.